Anna here. Welcome to Sew Learn Create. I'm so glad you joined us today. If you like what we do on our channel, be sure you click that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you get notified when we upload new videos. We also have a Patreon page where you can support our channel through multiple tiers. Also, on my Etsy shop, I have sewing kits for most of the tutorials that we do here on the channel. And they come in bundles. You get 5 kits and the bundles are lined out which tell you what you can get. Or I also have a grab bag bundle. So for today's project, we're going to be making a nail file holder. It takes the long nail file, has its own little pocket protector, and it fits well in your purse or your desk drawer. So let's get started. For today's project, the nail file holder, you'll need the following supplies. You'll need a piece of batting, and I'm using cotton batting, but you can use any kind of batting, and it's just to give the nail file holder a little more body. And that needs to be 2.5 inches wide by 8 inches long. Then you'll need 2 pieces of fabric for the body of your holder, and those are also 2.5 inches wide by 8 inches long. Then you'll need another piece of fabric that is 2.5 inches wide by 13 inches long, and that is your pocket. And I always do a double folded piece for my pockets because that way then they're fully lined all the way down. So the first thing you're going to do, and then you'll also need some basic sewing supplies. So we're going to iron our pocket in half with the right side facing out. And when we go to the machine, we're going to stitch right across this folded edge. And the reason you do that is because anytime you have a pocket, that edge is where all of your stress is of taking things in and out of your pocket. So if you stitch across it, it reinforces it and it keeps it from stretching over time. So we're going to go to the machine and stitch across that top edge. Now we're going to stitch right across this top, and it is the folded edge of our fabric. And I'm going to use the inside edge of my foot so I get a nice narrow seam allowance there. And I'm using a straight stitch at 2.5 on my machine. I'm going to start with my needle down in my fabric and just stitch all the way across. And that makes a nice reinforced edge for your pocket. So we'll go back to the mat. Now we've stitched across the top of our pocket and it's ready to start assembling our holder. So the first thing you want to do is lay your batting down first. Then you want to lay one of your short 2.5 by 8 inch pieces of your body. Lay it face up or pretty side up. Then you're going to put your pocket next, and again you're going to put it face up. Then your last piece, which is the back of your body, you're going to lay it face down or pretty side down. And you're going to lay all those together. And then we're going to stitch all the way around, but we're going to leave an opening on one of our long sides. And that makes it a little bit easier than trying to leave it at the bottom because that bottom is so narrow. And we want to make sure that we stitch around those corners to get them good and crisp. So I always leave my opening on the long side. I just want to make sure that it is below that pocket edge. So then I'm going to clip mine all the way around so I make sure I get them lined up really well. And I want to make sure that when I clip, I'm clipping that pocket so it makes sure it's nice and flat and it hasn't folded on me or something. So that's one thing you just want to be careful of when you're clipping around. So when we go to the machine, we're going to start here at our green clip. We're going to stitch all the way around and stop at our red, leave this tiny opening for us to turn. So let's go to the machine. Now we're going to start at our green clip, stitch all the way around, and of course leave our opening here. So I'm going to remove this clip and I'm going to use the full width of my machine foot as my seam allowance. I'm going to start here. And when I get to the corners, I'm going to leave my needle down lift my presser foot, rotate my project, and make sure that I line that edge up nice and straight. Middle down, turn, making sure it's nice and straight, and continue on. Now this is my last corner, and here's my red clip. So when I get close to that, I'm going to remove the clip and put my finger there to remind me where to stop. And backstitch. Now we've stitched all the way around. We'll go back to the mat and turn it right side out. Now we've stitched all the way around, and what I like to do is I like to turn my project over and make sure that I caught all my layers and I don't have anything flipped or tucked. You can see right down here it kind of shifted on me a little bit, but if I pull that batting down, I know that I've caught all my layers, so I'm still good. So then we're going to clip our corners. I'll show you on this side. Clip our corners. Our stitching is right here, and we're going to stitch diagonally and cut that fabric away. And what that does is it reduces the bulk in the corners so that they come out more crisp. And you want to cut all the way around. Just make sure that you don't cut your stitching. And down here you're going through multiple layers, so just kind of go slow and you can get through them all. There we go. Then we're going to find our opening, and we want to make sure that when we turn it in between our pocket and our back. If you turn it here, then your batting will be on the outside and it won't be correct. So make sure that when you open it up to turn it, you can see your pocket and your back fabric. So now we can turn it right side out. I like to go to one end or the other and try to get a kind of a big chunk, and that makes it just a little bit easier. This is kind of a long, skinny project, so you might just have to work with it a little bit. And you've got that batting, which gives it some bulk. Once you get one started, then it usually turns easier. There we go. And I'm going to use my chopstick, the bigger end, to kind of finish turning that out a little bit. And I just want to make sure that my pocket is on one side and my back fabric is on the other. There we go. Then I'm going to use the smaller end of my chopstick to poke out my corners. And I like to use a chopstick that's got a blunt end, not my scissors, because if you use your scissors and you're poking out, especially corners like this, it's really easy to poke a hole, and then you have to turn it wrong side out again and fix that hole. So I always like to use a chopstick or something that's a little more blunt. Now down here at the bottom you do have a lot of bulk, so you just have to kind of wiggle it and work that corner out. And it will work out, you just have to give it a little convincing. So then we're going to iron our project to where it's nice and flat before we top stitch, and we just want to make sure that this fabric here on the pocket and the back turn in so that when we top stitch it'll close up nicely. And if you iron it before you stitch it, especially top stitching, it does help that top stitching make everything lay nice and prettier. So now we've got it all ironed. Clip these threads here. We're going to go back to the machine. We're going to stop stitch all the way around and we'll be done. Now we're going to top stitch, and one of our main goals is to make sure that we close up this opening. But top stitching also makes all of your layers lay nicely together. So you want to start your top stitching just above where that opening is. And again, I'm going to use the inside edge of my foot so it's nice and narrow. And I'm going to go all the way around. Again, when I get to the top, I'm going to turn, leave my needle down, turn, and line it up, just making sure that it's on the inside edge. You are going through a lot of bulk with that batting, so you may have to grab your project here and give it just a little bit of encouragement when you first start off on those corners. And then when you get to the pocket going this direction, make sure that it stays underneath your presser foot and doesn't flip back up on you. Now I can feel I've got a lot of bulk right here because I've had all the layers of fabric plus my batting, and I can feel my needle struggling to go through. So sometimes in a corner I will lift and turn, and I will hand crank the next couple of stitches without using my foot, just so I can get it started, and it gives you a lot more control. Then when I come back to these stitches, I'm going to cross them and back stitch. Clip my threads. Insert my nail file. And your project is complete. I hope you liked today's project, the nail file holder. And be sure and check out my Etsy shop. The link will be in the description below. So, see you in the next one.